Yeah, she's a beaut. Just sitting here admiring the superior shelter. A tarp is your shelter, especially when you're a hammock person. You rely on your tarp out there in the woods for camping overnight to keep you dry, keep the wind off of you, keep pine needles from falling into your hammock, keep spiders off of you for some privacy. Now, I've been using this tarp for over a year now, and I've been using their hammocks a lot. Minnesota-based company. Right now I sort of have it pitch low. It was kind of simulating that I was in a storm, and I've had this thing hanging out here for about 3 weeks because we've had cold, we've had rain, we've had sleet, we've had wet snow, and it has withstood all of it. And the superior gear was out here in a storm last night. Today is April 20th, 2023. Last night, April 19th, 2023, we had a huge storm with hail and hard rain. And I came out here this morning and checked out everything, and man, it's dry as a bone under here. The hail didn't seem to bother it. The stakes weren't pulled up. Of course, I do have some logs from my wood pile sitting on there because our ground just thawed out, so now it's a little bit soggy. Big high winds for 2 days, and this tarp has been holding up great. The superior shelter, one of the greatest things about it, if you're one of those people who's kind of new to hammocks, and I get this from people all the time, they don't know how to tie knots. There's just no knots needed. And I think that's a really great thing for people because it's just going to make their tarp pitching life a little bit easier, because tarping is its own art, and when you get into hammocks, eventually you're going to have to deal with a tarp. Take heed on that one. So here's the aluminum ridgeline adjuster right here. So what you have is your cord going through, and that goes right around the tree with a little mini beaner right there that Superior Gear provides. Flip it over, that's how it's wound through. To release it, you just lift that top edge, slide it back. When I want to tighten it, grab the loose end and pull that right up. And it locks in quite firmly. I have never had that thing slip, ever. Keeps you from having to tie knots. All these, just put your stake in, right? Put your loop at the end of your guy line, right there, which is pre-tied around your stake. Pull, rink. Done. This tarp does come with its own stakes, and they even say, if you can see that on there, it says Superior Gear on it. So it's really nice when a tarp comes with stakes. I think that's an added benefit. With the stakes, there's even a cool little pouch on the bag where you can put your stakes separate from your tarp. Small thing, kind of handy. That and the little hand pull on the end, so when you pull everything out. And the thing I like about this stuff sack is you don't have to cram so hard. Like it fits the tarp real nice, even when I have it in my snake skins. This is sill poly, which is a little lighter, a little slicker. It absorbs less water, but you're roughly looking at about 28 ounces. 12 feet from tip to tip, so 12-foot ridge line. But the thing about this tarp when I first got it that I was a little suspect, you know, I don't like new things, I don't want to like new things even though I have an open mind, is the little clips on the corner. All right, the way you clip on the lines. And that makes it really easy because it's one less knot to do, it's one less looping around through where you've tied a bite and you want to push it through. You just clip everything, and I just was certain they were going to break at some point in high winds. And I have not had one failure. I've used these last year. I was on a 7-day trip in the Boundary Waters at a lot of high winds where the tarp is right in it, broadside. Never failed. Never failed out here in my tests. They've never come loose. They've never slipped. The ridgeline guy lines have never slipped. So I think that speaks for itself. We don't like slippage. You don't want your tarp slipping down. Indeed, these are real easy to clip off. Just kind of squeeze your sides and they clip off like that. Then when you want to connect these, that's the part on the tarp. Here's the little clip, and they just snap. And that's the part I didn't think I was going to trust, but they have never come loose. All right, so this setup is kind of what I would call my kind of high wind setup. I've got my doors pretty much all the way closed. I could have gotten them closed had I repitched, but yet you do have two loops right here that you could put a beaner in there, a little small beaner. Pitch them all the way closed if you want. They're tied down here. Here's what those clips look like. And you just simply, to let it loose, you just kind of put your thumb right there and loosen it. And to tighten it, you just pull it. We have one single pull out on the side, which I find is enough. That is good for me. I'd rather have one than two. And I really like having the clip here. Kind of nice that there's on your ties down here, there is a middle tie at the bottom. And I have that hooked up right now just because it was really windy, and it opens up like if you're sitting in the hammock. I'll show you that. It just pulls your tarp out a little bit more. So if you were cooking and doing some stuff from your hammock, rather than your tarp being in here, you get a little bit more protection from the rain. All right, so that's that middle tie out right there. And I'm here inside the tarp, sitting at the edge of my hammock. There's my feet right there. And I've got what I would consider a great distance down here for cooking or having my pack. I have the entrance doors like this, one pulled in, and I have the other out just because I knew I was going to be coming in and out a good bit. So that would basically be my entrance right there. I would come in this way if I was one of those guys that really wanted to pitch down tight like that. Now I close that door off, and like I say, to me that's not a very big gap. If you did want to close that up, you would just need to pitch your tarp a little closer angle, and you have full coverage. It does come with 8 sets of these lines right here. It's glow line, really strong line, never snapped. Glow meaning when your flashlight hits it at night, it really lights up. It also comes with 4 of these shock cord sort of bungee clips, and these are really good for pinning your doors back. I tend to use clips, but you can hook the 2 doors back. I'll show you that in a second. And you can even use those to put your door down here, and then you've got a little bit more give if you want to pull your door open to step in. All right, I just put one of the bungee ones in there. And because it has a clip on the other end, I just put a little loop there and tied it to the stake. But then you can pull your door back. That makes this a lot easier, just to pull that door back. You could pull it out and step over. There's the other side of the tarp. I just kind of got that one tied off on a tree. Not even straight, but it pulls it out and really opens up that room inside. I did seam seal this tarp inside and out, and if you look at my seam sealing video, this is the tarp I did. It doesn't say on his site whether you need to or not, but judging by the type of ridgeline sewing it is, I would say it's never a bad idea to seam seal your tarp. That's just one place you don't want to have a leak. And now we're looking at those doors pulled back with the 2 bungee clips hooked on there, and you can see my doors are just pinned back there, which a lot of people like that feature. That way you can have your tarp opened up. There is a lot of room in this tarp, especially with the sides pulled out. And having those doors pulled back is really nice. That's an easy way to do it. All right, this is one of the setups. I like to call this sky pitch. And I just have the corner of my tarp, which is usually pinned right there, just pulled back over the top. Got your guy line just coming over the top. Doesn't need to be real tight or anything. And I have it right here on its stake. You ask, why do I not have it on this stake? Because if it starts to rain or something and I need to repitch, my stake's right there. I just jump up, pull it, go right around and stake that out. And I'm laying here in my hammock, and I got a nice view of the sky. And even if it started to sprinkle, I'm a little bit covered here. You know, I don't think it would really keep me dry for long. Hey, Bean. Hey, man. Want to come in? Come on. Come on. Oh, come on. You got it. Come on. Come on. There you go. Hey, Putty. Hi there. Hello, Bean Bum. Beanie Weenie. Superior Gear tarp, and the reason I'm showing it to you is it has worked for me. It hasn't let me down. Those corner clips have not broken. It hasn't come loose, and I really like that. So, you know, if you're shopping for tarps and you're looking for a shelter, the Superior shelter passed the old Shug test. I don't know if that means much, but it's kept me high and dry, and I trust it. So there you go. All right, here's your color choices for your shelter. They have camo, charcoal, what mine is white and sky, and then for your ropes right there, good stuff. Woo, buddy! All secure in Sector 7. Thank you.